Do one of my traditional boom. We're back with another episode of Sales Ramble TV. It's episode 5, sitting with Chance and New Year's, and we're gonna speak on what exactly is remote high ticket sales, because we've had friends, family, people commenting on our posts. What is high ticket sales? What are you guys doing? Are you guys just idiots sitting in front of Zoom talking with strangers? And what is it that we actually do? So today we're going to cover exactly that and a little bit more on specific strategies that benefit people within this industry. And yeah, what's your thoughts? Anything you want to add?
Yeah, man, I'm super excited. This is one that I know you and I both discussed that we should probably dive into before we kind of move the needle any further here. I've got a ton of people, like you said, that ask me, what do you do? What is it? How is it different from traditional sales? And just excited to really dive into the differences and, branch out on this topic, bro.
Nice. So let's talk about it. So I've wrote, and I think it's important to understand what sales is in general. And for me, as a young dude, when I was first, out of college or high school, depending on where you live, the first jobs that I saw when I was applying and just searching around, the two words came up, and it was inside sales, and the other word is someone who describes door to door, but they describe it as you're out there representing face to face a certain product or a service. Might be most likely it is a physical kind of a product as you are starting out. And yeah, that was like how I first stumbled across it. But as I just went on, do you want me to continue?
Yeah, go for it, man. I'm just letting you go.
All right. Just making sure. But
you're good.
That was my first sales encounter. But as I started to kind of like develop, I started an online business. That was my first business as I ran, and we've talked about this before, my story. And the remote high ticket sales started without me even knowing it, which is how I kind of like stumbled across it. But I know you've been in sales, not remote high ticket sales, what you're doing now, but in other scenarios of sales that, just walk us through it.
Exactly, man. Yeah. So for me, man, when I first heard of sales, it was essentially from my dad. I love my dad. So if you're watching this, Pops, I don't mean this with any ill intent, but he always looked down on sales roles because they were commission based. He was a society based thinker that you need a guaranteed salary to keep you safe and pay the bills and all that. And I always thought of salesmen as like car salesmen, right? Or like just those. And I don't mean any hate by bringing up car salesmen, or like myself when I worked at Verizon, phone salesman, right? It's just kind of that basic sales that, I mean, if you're a little good, you're going to make money because people kind of already know what they want. They just need you to nudge them in the corner, right? Whereas with us, man, high ticket sales, specifically, remote high ticket sales, because I know there's regular high ticket sales like medical devices and stuff, but remote high ticket sales, I guess, man, I put a lot of thought to this, and on a basic level, what I could think of was like, it's an exchange of information to see if you can provide value. Right. I was trying to boil it down to the most basic level in terms of what it is. Right. And then obviously, when it comes to high ticket is expensive. Right. So that's my take on it, man.
Yeah. So it's basically that exchanging information, transferring energy. And we're doing that not face to face, as you may see applying to a bunch of job posts in your local area. But we are actually selling through Zoom. We are doing, we're vibing on Zoom, vibing with Chance. We're vibing on Zoom, seeing how we are able to, provide, information about a certain coaching service or program to help someone through their roadblocks and challenges. And well, it's online coaching, so it only makes sense that we sit online. And I think that's kind of like where remote high ticket sales had their own ground.
I agree.
Is the online coaching being a thing?
I agree, right? So high ticket right, is just something that's highly valuable, right? So as an example, I guess we can dive into different niches now, right? But the niche that
Right.
I work in, and if you want to say I specialize in, because it's my favorite, is biz op, right? Business opportunity. So it's an extremely valuable sale, and it's an extremely valuable product because there's people that, you know, quit their jobs and they're able to pay their mom's house off, and they're able to retire their parents or put their kids through college with these high valuable products, right? And it's just something where a lot of people who aren't in our world, it's hard for them to wrap their minds around it. I don't know if you've seen that, right? But a lot of my friends who I talk to, they just don't understand, like, why would somebody pay, like, for my offer $10,000 to learn how to sell on Amazon, right? And it's like, well, get on a demo and I'll show you, right? But it's yeah, man. There's so many niches in this world, and I guess, I mean, you are involved with a lot more than I am, so I'll let you kind of dive into a couple there.
Ah, niches. It's a beautiful place. It's going back to my roots.
Hmm.
My two favorite niches that I've been, the most engaged in and learned a lot, by working as a sales rep is marketing and technology. So, I mean, it's marketing is kind of understandable because it's business to business, and I speak to a lot of entrepreneurs, business people, like professionals in their 40s wanting to start a business or have started a business but only reached 10K, wanting to get to 30, and lead generation and client acquisition is their biggest roadblock. So there hasn't been that much of shits and giggles or whatever, people not understanding what marketing is.
Hmm.
But I've also been selling Amazon, selling for Amazon, closing for Amazon, and it's the same thing. If I were to go down to my parents and my dad and talk about ecom and Amazon, they'd be like, get lost. I mean, we don't understand what you're trying to tell us. What passive income? No, it doesn't exist. So it's a bit of nurturing, I guess, from like the marketing perspective, which is where my interest lies. Um, but it's an interesting place. I have friends that first didn't believe in Amazon, to watching VSLs, to starting to Google and go on their research route for 20 hours, to now invested in it. And he didn't put like 10 or 5, he put 20K in dollars, living here in Sweden, which we don't make the US wage, but like we just have like that kind of priorities. Amazing to see how like marketing can nurture someone, but also that it's widely open for anyone that want to get into it.
No, definitely, man. Definitely. I completely agree with you. And one thing I wanted to bring up here, and I don't mean to backtrack, but I just thought of a point that I wanted to talk about before we dive into more niches. So as somebody who has experience in traditional sales and high ticket sales, I just kind of want to highlight a couple of the differences real quick. So my personal experience with traditional sales before I got into high ticket sales was Verizon Wireless. It's like a phone company, right? People come in, they know they want to upgrade, they know what phone they want, and they know how much they want to spend. You're kind of a glorified order taker, right? You come in, you may be able to upsell them on like a case or a screen protector, right? But that's about it. So, I mean, yes, there's a little bit of skill there because it is sales. You got to be a customer service person, but just about anybody can do it, right? Whereas what we do, Dave, in terms of high ticket sales, right? It's a Zoom call. So you're not even seeing them face to face, as you said. It's a complete stranger, right? Somebody who can literally get on and just say, yeah, I'm kind of interested. I want to make more money, right? And our job is to literally take them and within 45 minutes to an hour, have them in a spot where they're ready to pay us 10, 15, 20, 50,000, depending on what your package is, thousands and thousands of dollars, just giving us their card. Right. And it's like, it's
Right.
such a, I think that's where the term high ticket comes in, because it's such a higher, it's just a higher value, higher skill set, like everything. It's like multiplied super, super high compared to the actual, or not actual, to traditional like physical sales. And I just wanted to kind of highlight the differences, right? Because there's a whole sales process. You got to get to
Yeah.
know them, what the problem is, why it's a problem, all that good stuff. And then at the end of the call, collect payment.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to highlight on those differences there. I didn't mean
No,
to back.
that's good. It's going at it from the emotional angle. So I mean, buying something of 5 and like even $1,000 for most people, that's a lot of money.
It
So
is.
even on that amount, comparing to a $500 phone, I don't know how phone goes for these days, probably more than 500, most likely.
A bit.
But it's a bit different in terms of their emotional level, but also buying something physical with instant gratification versus coaching that's kind of like self-improvement. Not a lot of people are, familiar with self-improvement. It's kind of like woo-woo spiritual stuff that, is not within their mindset, which is a whole nother like landfill talking with someone on Zoom.
Yep.
Right, with that mindset, not believing in self-improvement, never done anything, training their body, training their mind, reading books or anything like that for like 10 years, and we're sitting here talking with them how they're going to set up the rest of the 20 years of the future, which is a real challenge. That person is not going to go to a page and spend $5,000 by not talking to a single soul.
Exactly, right. And I think the main difference is, and you correct me if I'm wrong because you're better at the back end stuff, but high ticket sales is like really marketing and sales funnel driven, right? Like providing a lot of value, giving them a demo, all that stuff, where traditional sales is, at least in my experience, yes, it's a little marketing driven, but like it's also word of mouth. It's also, like I'm trying to think how to phrase it here. It's like a guarantee, right? Like you're going to need a new phone, right? Or you're going to need a new car. You're going to need a house, right? All these regular high ticket real estate agents, car salesmen, phone salesmen, people need these things. People don't necessarily need, right? Which our job is to get them to realize that, but people don't need a business. People don't need to invest into real estate learning, right? Whereas, you need a car to get to work. You need a phone to operate the daily lives in, modern technological ages. And it's just a really cool thing, man. You brought up the emotions, and it got my mind on that track of just the differences there. But yeah, man. On to the next point. I mean, you got some notes here. What else you want to talk about?
One interesting thing, because I've seen some posts here in this high ticket sales world, which you and I have very similar connections, so you've probably seen it as well. But the remote high ticket sales, you and I came in, this year. Well, it's 2023, so last year and last year, and the year before that, and apparently I've met people that've been in this space since like 2009 and 2013, which is like a long time. So it's not something just came out of nowhere from COVID, but it's been there. But due to COVID and us being inside all the time, and marketers and whatever else is developing that keep us to this online and attached to it, because it's been a flood of people the last few years that have not overrun, but flooded this industry. Overrun is it's the wrong word, but flooded this industry, right? So like, how come like the remotely high ticket sales being crafted into an industry? My first instinct to that question is marketers. Marketers painting the remote high ticket sales space as like all the like rainbows and sunshine that Rocky put it, right? Make 10K in 90 days, make this amount in this amount of days, which 2 years ago that marketing was super hot. It was the only thing that I saw, which is why I got started on the business, which we're not gonna get deeper on. But I fell for it too. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely, man. Marketing, the marketing for our industry is really grimy, and they leave out a ton, right? Like the way that it's marketed is like, come in, learn this skill, and in 90 days you'll be making six figures, right? They don't touch on networking, they don't touch on interviewing, they don't touch on the different levels of skill sets. They don't touch on anything that you're actually going to be doing in sales. It's just like you said, it's that promise, right? It's like the golden promise, and the 2016 to 2020 ads with Lamborghinis and big houses that they're just taking pictures in front of, right? Yeah, it's basically the same reason I got into it too. I won't lie to you. I mean, everybody likes to make a lot of money, right? Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, man, that's a really interesting point, right? There's a lot of gurus out there in this industry who are promising way, way too much.
Yeah. And it's I guess because if the advertisers were to put in some other way, it
Yeah,
wouldn't be as attractive as make 10K a month in 90 days. But
yeah,
one thing that I noticed so much, because I ran a business first and I paid
mhm,
for my own leads, like my first couple of clients, and then I went to sales. And as I
mhm,
connected with more sales people, like they kind of like not putting someone in the shading someone, but I think just most sales people that are kind of new don't understand like the business acumen, like the client, like where does the lead come from? Like someone has to pay for the leads, and if you have 40 calls per week, like that's gotta like there's an investment attached to it. So the mindset along that, knowing it's an investment for, well, if you're working in a business, probably the business owner,
mhm,
right? Running the cash flow, the revenue, taking care of everything.
yeah,
But just having that in mind that, all right, so I having the business owner, put 40 calls on my calendar, but it's really an investment of $4,000 on me this week. Like that mindset, I, didn't see that a lot when I came in. So when I, saw a bunch of leads, I was like, shit, they're putting money on these ads. They're putting money on these ads. But like, having that gratitude of, not knowing kind of like what position you're at, I think that's where most salespeople is at because they take everything for granted. That's just like a common thing that I saw very early on.
no, I completely agree, man. Going further on that, right? Like closers are, I shouldn't say closers. The salespeople, I like your word, right? It's like they take advantage of it because they don't understand the cost. They don't understand the work behind the scenes to build that funnel, to get somebody to run the ads at a high level, to get somebody to click, right? To stay for more than 3 seconds, all that stuff. They just wake up and take sales calls, right? They just, oh, hey,
Yeah.
I'm booked out, right? Cool, cool, awesome. And what I've seen as a common theme as well is soon as marketing is down, people jump ship, right? Like, which I mean, no offense to that. If you absolutely want to do that, go for it. I get it. You gotta worry about yourself, right? But um, there's just that like as soon as you might have to do a little bit of work to book your own calendars, it's like, nah, I'm out, right?
Yeah.
And it's nah, man, it's a crazy topic. So hey, there is one thing that I wanted to ask you since we're on this topic of what is high ticket sales. What is your opinion on like the cutoff, right? So is $1,000 high ticket sales? Is it 2,000? Is it 3,000? Because there's a lot of different opinions out there, ranging from a
Yeah.
couple thousand to like real high ticket sales isn't like but 10K and above, right? So I was just curious what your take is on that.
Man, that's I've heard it as well. My opinion has shifted, you know, along the line because when you're only selling, $5,000 products to $15,000 products, like 1,000 isn't a lot anymore. But still, 1,000, if we look at the client's perspective, because I know when you and I set up a business on like the location, my first mindset was how can we make it easier for our clients, our customers. So what's the perspective on our clients and customers' perspective on what's high ticket? Obviously, we're not going to ask them because they're mostly not going to understand. But like just
No.
like where the mindset is at, it's got to be 1,000. Now, $1,000 products and programs, there is a very high chance to sell them on landing pages if you have
Hmm.
super nailed in, marketing, super nailed in, like having that branding and credibility of like a
Oh yeah.
top-notch superstar, like that's absolutely possible. But for most sales business owners out there, and people just launching, because there's a lot of businesses launching in this online space every single day and every month.
Ton of them.
$1,000, and getting someone to invest into that program is high ticket. and anything above $1,000 should be considered high ticket. Personally,
Definitely. I feels I knew I had to sneeze. I think it depends on the niche that we're talking about, right? Because some people, right, when you're selling a $50,000 product, if done right, the audience probably doesn't think $1,000 is a lot of money, right? Because they're investing $50,000 at a time. Now, if you're selling a 3,500 to a 10K package like I am for a business opportunity, that's obviously marketing to people that want a business, so people that want out of a job, or they want to continue building their empire, right? Or they're retired, but their retirement's not going to take them where they want, so they have to start a business. Those kind of people, $3,500 is a lot of money. $10,000 is a lot of money, right? So I definitely agree with you, man. Unless you're targeting the elite, right? So the real estate programs that target, like, people that are 7-figure earners, I think 1,000 and up, especially in the current economic times. I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find somebody on the street and ask them if $1,000 is a lot of money, and they say no.
yeah. But I actually do agree when you mentioned depending on the niche. Like me looking back to my marketing gigs, if I were like every time I would present like something by 1,000 or 3,
Mhm.
it would be like, is this worth it? It's like that value question pops up because it's so like low to that point. So yeah, I do think it's valid to talk about like the niches in terms of that question. But yeah, in talking about 11,000 and someone that's already made 2 million from funnels, that's like, take my credit card right now. So,
Exactly. No,
it's
no,
different.
I completely get it, man. So like, the offer I'm on right now, it's BizOp, right? That's my favorite niche. I love the prospects, and I love people who are aspiring to be business owners, because I mean, I went to business school, right? That's one of my passions. But more importantly, man, so our low ticket entry 3,500, they sold that on a webinar for 6.5 years and made 50 mil. Right. So like that, what you were talking about, people who are willing to spend 3,500 just off of a video, like that webinar, and our marketing and everything back end is like super top of the line, because they made 50 mil without even having an internal sales team. Right. Just off a webinar.
Fuck.
That's crazy, bro. Right. Exactly. And now we're doing this 10K package, which is basically the 3,500 with hand holding. Right. It's like a done with you service. And now we have an internal sales team, because people aren't going to spend 10K off of a video. Now you might get like this percent of people who will, but the majority of public need that process. One of us getting on, walking them through, battling the fear, getting them in the buyer's pocket, all that stuff that we do, right? Which we can talk about. But yeah, it's just funny that you brought that up, because I was going to talk about my offer, but you beat me to it in terms of, how some of these people are able to get people to just give them their wallet off of a video. It blew my mind when
Yeah.
I found that out about my offer. I was like, what? That's crazy.
50 million of a webinar and a 3K ticket product.
3,500, right? So, I mean, let's just do the math real quick, dude. Like, how many people bought that?
How many sales is that? I personally haven't.
14,285.
Say it again for the people in the back.
14,285.
In 6 years?
6.5 years, yeah.
I'm getting a headache.
Yeah, bro.
That's
Crazy.
nuts.
It's crazy. And then we have a CRM with like 23,000 leads of people who didn't buy over the last 6 years that we just hit as well. But yeah, I don't want to dive. Obviously, we're rambling here, but I don't want to
Yeah,
dive.
it's all good.
Do you have any more topics
It's,
that you wanted to touch on here?
going back to the main red thread or
Yeah.
thread that we are covering today, what exactly is remote high ticket sales?
Uh-huh.
From everything I've just gathered, that it says, but it costs more, and we do it through Zoom, and we do it remotely. It says, but remotely.
Exactly.
Now,
Exactly. Sales
yeah,
is remote, and it's through Zoom.
yeah.
Right.
and it's a different sale, right?
It
It's a different sale. It has emotions attached to it. It's not something that people need to learn, you know. It's not like my life is upon me getting fitness coaching. It's
yeah,
not, but it's my personal responsibility. And having someone realize that within their mindset, it just becomes a whole nother conversation than, hey, let me get my new iPhone.
exactly.
Where is it, like 15 hours? I don't even know.
It's the 14. The 15 comes out this year, 2023.
Jeez. All right. But yeah, it's a different conversation than just, hey,
It's
let
a much
me
higher
upgrade my
level,
phone.
right? It's a much higher level because people, if you do it right, I mean, they'll tell you everything, man. Like, you know, an example, a guy who I spoke with, he's semi-retired, but his retirement doesn't pay all of his bills, so he has to still work 3 days a week. He's been doing that for years. He's like 67, I believe is what he said, and he's just ready to fully retire. And like his body's breaking down. And it was a super emotional conversation. And he's closing tomorrow. We had to schedule a follow up for an actual legit reason there. But he's closing tomorrow, and like that's the type of conversation that I didn't get at Verizon, right? Like people would just come in and they're like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I got the marketing. I'm ready for an upgrade. Okay, what phone? This phone. Okay, press a couple of buttons, ring them out. Do you want a case and a screen protector? Yeah, okay, put it on for me. Here you go.
Insurance and protection.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, right. And it's yeah, it's just much higher level, right? I like that word high ticket because it's really like everything is at a higher level, right? The cost is higher, the skill set is higher, the level of conversation and exchange of information is higher.
Yeah.
If you do it right, the level of value you provide is also higher, right? I think that first word is very fitting, high. I don't know.
Because we're high in the clouds, so we're selling something at a high cost. But yeah, I mean, it's like we're not gonna get, as a retail sales rep, someone to cry over, getting a new iPhone 15,
Unless they're like
and
12.
yeah, unless they're like 12 crying to their parents. But like, we're not gonna, dig up, what they done,
No.
with the years, stay with their toys, and now they can't, never worked as a 12-year-old, and when I have a new phone, it's just not that conversation.
No, no. I agree, man. I
But
agree.
all right, man. Last conclusion, one
Yeah.
sentence. What is remote high ticket sales? How can we put it into words where someone that just sees us across the street and asks us, what do you do? And you want to explain what we do to a normal everyday dude just seeing you in public eating ice cream or whatnot.
I would say it is the practice of selling a high value and high cost product to someone. The practice of selling a high value, high cost product to someone who needs it.
There we have it.
That's in terms of one sentence, no run-ons. That's the best that I can put it, because our job is to make them realize they need it. Right. So yeah, the practice of selling a high value, high cost product for someone who needs it. That's it.
There we have it. We might have another perspective a year from now and, post that video. But yeah, who knows, man? Everything can change.
I mean, my life's changed drastically in the last year. I'm sure yours has too, bro.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I'd probably be, miserable at my couch if I wouldn't, start a business and do sales. So,
Oh, bro,
it's
this
yeah,
time last year I was working for Verizon, literally.
this
Like,
time.
yeah, like this 1 year ago, I was in Verizon working on New Year's Day because the store was open and there was two people that needed to work. So I got put in the store. I had to work an 8-hour shift on New Year's Day. It was awesome. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Well, dude, then I've been in sales longer than you have. A little bit longer, like I don't know, like 2 months.
Like high ticket stuff?
Yeah, like high.
Yeah.
Well,
I
yeah,
got my
high
first
ticket
gig
sales.
February of last year.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
Oh man, I got some catch up to do then. You know, you just blasted through me.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, in terms of the outro, this was an awesome video, David. I love the topics that we choose, but if you guys liked it, please like the video. Helps us with engagement. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comments. If you think David and I look ugly or something, drop it in the comments. Hit that subscribe button for us, please, please, please. And if you want to stay up to date, ring that bell notification, and you'll know whenever David, he's the back end wizard, he does the uploading. So whenever he uploads a video, you guys will know.
Yep. Comment anything, agree, disagree, ask a question. Maybe I was ugly this episode, and chance, who knows, man? Who knows?
Yeah,
We'll just post and peace out.
Exactly. But don't forget, real quick, Dave and I's calendars will be in the description. If you guys want to book a call with us, please do. We like to talk sales, see if there's any way we can provide value to you guys.
That's it. Peace out.
Logging off.